Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the first week of the Guitar Intensive. Now, just to outline what our goals are going to be, what my goals are, is, I could have named this thing Everything I Wanted to Know About Music Theory I Could Learn in the Key of C, because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about the key of C this entire 4 weeks. And we are going to use the key of C in the first 3 frets of the guitar. Now, one of the things I want you to be able to do is to be able to know instinctively where the notes are on the different strings. So we've got a couple of tools here that we went over in class today. One, you'll see in the green chalkboard the letters A through G, and then A again, in big letters. And across the top you have some letters with sharps next to them, and across the bottom you have some letters with flats next to them. And in between each of those letters is a line that connects these letters to each other. Those lines are equal to the guitar's frets. For instance, let's say I wanted to find a C note on the A string. Well, first find the letter A, the left hand A. All right, and we're going to go from left to right, and we're going to go across the top or across the bottom, it doesn't matter which, and we're going to go and count the lines we cross until we get to C. So let's see, A sharp, B, C. 3 lines. Well then, 3rd fret on the A string is C. Easy, right? How about if I wanted to take the D string and I want to find an F sharp on the D string? Well, find your D in this diagram in the middle big letters. Find the D. We're going from left to right. We're going to stop at F sharp, counting the lines we go through. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. 1, 2, D, D sharp, E, F. Oh, 4. It took across 4 lines. So the 4th fret of the D string is an F sharp. So what if I wanted to find what if I wanted to find a G on the E string? Well, find the letter E. There's your E string. Left to right, stop at G. Count the lines. E, F, F sharp, G. We crossed 3 lines. So, 3rd fret fat E string, or the skinny E string, is a G. So we covered that in class today. And then what we did is I introduced you to all the notes that are in the key of C. Now, why the key of C? Well, because there's no sharps or flats involved. It's just letters. The alphabet letters with no sharps or flats. And we're going to limit ourselves to the first 3 frets of the guitar. And this is going to be all the notes that are in the key of C in what is called the open position. The open position, meaning we're going to utilize open strings. So I've given you a diagram that shows the first 3 frets of the guitar fretboard. And above it, you're going to see all the notes in the key of C, starting from low E, going up from the fat E string, going all the way up through the skinny E string. And underneath, I showed you the tab equivalent. You can see where these notes are on the tablature. So it starts off with E, and we're going to use a tab as a reference, and I'm just going to call out the numbers of the frets. Open, 1, 3, then go to the A string. Open, 2, 3, D string, open, 2, 3, G string, open, 2, B string, open, 1, 3, E string, open, 1, 3, open, 1, 3, open, 2, 3, open, 2, 3, open, 2, open, 1, 3, open, 1, 3. All those are the notes that are in the key of C. Notice there's no sharps, there's no flats. We start at E, we just go up the alphabet. When you get to G, you start over again at A. Right? E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So here's what I want you to do this next week with that. I want you to practice those notes, practice that pattern 2 ways. 1, do what I just did. Say the letter name as you play the note, starting the fat E string. E, F, G, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Also do it using just the fret numbers. Open 1, 3, open 2, 3, open 2, 3, open 2, open 1, 3, open 1, 3. Now, it's reasonable to expect that would take you about, let's say it took you 8 seconds to go from the very first note of that pattern to the very last note. From the open E string at the bottom to the fat, skinny E string, 3rd fret at the top. Say it takes you 8 seconds. 2 seconds to reset and then to repeat. That means you're going to, in a minute, you're going to do that 6 times or 7 times. Yeah. 6 or 7 times. Let's say 6 times. And you set aside 3 minutes, just 3 minutes of your time. That means you're going to go over that pattern 18 times in 3 minutes. Now, if you do that 5 times this next week, all right, you're going to do it 16 times in 3 minutes, 5 times. That's 80 times over the space of a week. You'll know these things. I want you to be able to know it so well that you can have a conversation, speak sentences while you do it, while you're playing it, and you can still play it. While you're playing, you're just talking about something. Let's see, we could go, doe, a deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun, or chipmunks roasting on an open fire. Their screams are wafting through the air. You should be able to play it and speak over it while you do it. That's your goal. So I want you to come to class next week having that thing absolutely nuked without any issues, playing it cleanly and perfectly. Now, the next thing we did is, once you've got these notes figured out on the first 3 frets of your guitar, we got some transcriptions to do. In the back of the book, there's things to choose from. There's some Christian songs. There's a song from The Sound of Music. There's a sheet called Shorties, which is some rock riffs that I've written out. They're all in the key of C. I want you to tab those out and play them when we get together next week. You'll have the diagram that shows all the notes in treble clef and where they're found on the strings with the tablature, and using that as your reference, write the tab out for whatever it is you choose to do this next week. Now, all the guys picked the Shorties because they're rock licks and they're cool. And the one young lady in our class, she picked The Sound of Music because she's a musical girl, and I get that. So next week, come prepared to play your tabbed out selection, be able to play this scale. Now, where are we going to go from here? Well, next week, we're going to start looking at taking specific notes out of this key of C, and we're going to build a C major scale. We are going to build an A minor scale, which also comes out of the key of C. We're also going to start to talk about what's called the chordal scale. Every note in a major scale is the root of a chord, and we're going to talk about that. So next week, we're going to learn all the chords in the key of C. We're going to learn the major scale. We're going to learn the minor scale. And from there, who knows where we'll go? Maybe we'll do pentatonic scales. I don't know. Depends on how much time we have. But next week will be scale week. This week, it was notes week. Next week, it's scale week. All right, that's a good place to stop. I'm Mr. G. Have yourself a glorious, fabulous week. See you in class. Bye-bye.